Hi, my name is Abigail Kirchmer, and this is my assignment for Block 2 of ITM. For this presentation, we'll be diving a little deeper into computer software and applications, and then we'll be discussing a newer popular form of business. By the end of this presentation, I hope that you have a better understanding of system development lifecycle in e-commerce. To begin our presentation today, we'll start by talking about System Development Lifecycle, or commonly referred to as SDLC. I'm sure many of you are not familiar with this, so we're going to start with the basics. System Development Lifecycle is a series of steps or phases that provides a model for development and management of an application or piece of software. To help you better understand CDLC, I think that we should look at the benefits/regions it's important. The intent of SDLC is to help produce software and applications that are cost-efficient, effective, and of high quality. I'll first talk about some of the common steps involved in SDLC, and then I'll talk about the different methodologies that make it effective. As stated before, the SDLC process might look slightly different from company to company or across different industries. I'm going to talk about the basic and general steps of SDLC. The 5 main steps are analysis, construction, testing, release, and maintenance. It is important to remember that the SDLC is a cycle. The first phase, analysis, is where the purpose of the software is determined. The goals of what needs to be accomplished should be laid out and the requirements should be developed. The second phase, construction, is where the software is actually designed and produced. The engineering and writing of the applications is done during this phase. It is important that during this phase they stick to the plans laid out in the first phase. The third phase, testing. A number of tests are run on the codes produced in the construction. The tests are performed to ensure that the application could not easily be hacked. The fourth phase, the application will be released into a beta environment to test real-world usability. It is not until the fifth phase, maintenance, that the application is fully released. The maintenance phase also allows the application to be adjusted. To guide the process of SDLC, as stated before, different methodologies have been developed. These methodologies include waterfall, agile, model rapid, joint application, and the fountain model. The spiral model, the synchronize and stabilize. One methodology is not said to be better than the other, but some methods work better for specific types of projects. In the next 2 slides, we'll talk about the 2 most popular. The first methodology we'll talk about is waterfall model. The waterfall method is the first and most traditional method. The waterfall method begins with a well-thought-out plan and has a defined set of requirements. On the screen, you can see what a waterfall methodology would look like. The next and last methodology we'll talk about is the agile model. The agile model begins with less guidelines and makes adjustments as needed through the process. It is known for being able to quickly translate an application in development to full release at any stage. Agile is mostly used for applications that are updated frequently. I think you now have a basic understanding of what SDLC is and how it works. In summary, today we defined SDLC. We talked about 5 basic steps of SDLC, which are analysis, construction, testing, release, and maintenance. We then discussed the different methodologies that are involved in SDLC. We focus on waterfall and agile, and don't forget the purpose of SDLC is to be cost-efficient, effective, and of high quality. We'll now be switching gears and talking about something that I think we're all more familiar and might even have a basic knowledge of. We'll be talking about e-commerce. Electrocommerce or e-commerce is a term of any type of business or commercial transaction that involves the transfer of information across the internet. It is possibly one of the most important aspects of the internet. E-commerce has numerous and the seller. The first benefit is that e-commerce allows customers to exchange goods and services with no barrier of time or distance. Carrying out transactions electronically proves competitive advantage over traditional methods. E-commerce is often faster, cheaper, and more convenient than traditional methods. Let's now talk about the very basic steps in an online store setup. The first thing you are going to need is an online shopping cart. The shopping cart allows consumers to purchase goods and services, track customers, and to tie together all aspects of e-commerce. There are many softwares that will do this, but customizable ones are proved to be a cost-effective method. The second step for having an online store is the means to accept online payments. This could look like a couple of different things, but the most common is having a merchant account and being able to accept credit cards through an online payment gateway. The final step to an online store is to have a market people to your site and entice repeat customers. I'm sure you're wondering if there are security concerns with purchasing online. Here in the United States, many states have adopted some form of Electronic Commerce Act that defines basic consumer rights. There's also the Model Law on Electronic Commerce and the International Consumer Protection Enforcement Network that many countries around the world have adopted, including the United States. Most online purchases are in fact safe. So far, we have mostly outlined the advantages of e-commerce, but it's important to know that there are a few disadvantages. Some of these disadvantages include the fact that there's limited customer service, there's no instant gratification from buying your products, and there's no ability to touch and see your product. All in all, shopping is up to the consumer's preference, but e-commerce has proven to be faster, cheaper, and more convenient. In summary, today we've talked about two very different things, but two very important things to our everyday lives. Just to refresh your memory, we first talked about SDLC, which are the steps and phases that go into creating and maintaining applications and software. We then discussed e-commerce, which are commercial transactions that happen over the internet. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that you've learned something useful today.